Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are here to take your stack of sources, extract the absolute most valuable insights, and turn you into the most informed person in the room.
And today we're talking about a movie that just refuses to die. It seems to defy every rule of, well, cinematic box office, fan culture, and intellectual property law. The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's right. As Rocky Horror hits its 50th anniversary, which is amazing, we're looking way beyond the fishnets and glitter. We're digging into this really fascinating paradox. This movie was a huge box office flop back in 1975, just dead on arrival almost.
Yeah, big time.
Yet somehow, it's become one of the longest-running theatrical releases ever in cinema history.
It really is the ultimate case study in IP survival, isn't it? Our mission today is to use RHPS as let's say, a focused example of how copyright, trademark, performance rights, all that legal stuff intersects with, and honestly is constantly tested by these super dedicated, very active fan bases.
Right, like you can't really control the chaos that the fans bring.
Not at all.
But you somehow have to figure out how to, well, monetize it or at least benefit from it.
Exactly. How do you keep total legal control, stay profitable over a property when the very fan participation that keeps it relevant is, if you look at it technically, constant low-grade infringement? That tension right there, that's the financial engine. It's kept this thing going for 5 decades.
That specific tension.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to dissect the business strategy, how they maintained legal protection while, actively encouraging this unique participatory fan culture, because that culture is the core of its ongoing value.
It's like a masterclass in strategic flexibility. Or maybe strategic ambiguity.
Something like that. Definitely strategic.
Okay, let's unpack the history first. Get the foundation right. The film, 1975 release, actually started as a stage musical. Quite successful, created by Richard O'Brien.
Yep, on the London stage. But the film only really found its groove later. Those midnight screenings were key.
Absolutely. The film's legendary status, you could argue, is owed entirely to those midnight shows and the fans, the Rocky Horror faithful, as they're called.
Oh, definitely. We're talking full-on, singing along, shouting callbacks at the screen. The costumes, obviously.
Costumes are incredible. And the props. Don't forget the props. People bringing rice, water guns.
Toast. Yeah, it's audience participation theater, basically.
Those audience callbacks might be the purest expression of the fandom, right? Because they make every single viewing unique.
Totally.
You're not just passively watching, you are actively performing with the movie.
And right there, that's where the legal friction really starts. This constant fan participation, it fuels the cultural relevance, generates demand, but it also creates this really unique challenge for IP enforcement. You literally have thousands of people every weekend all over the world actively performing bits of your copyrighted work.
Okay, so let's get specific then. Copyright and this whole culture of participation. What's the basic IP that's protected here?
Well, the script itself, the music, the lyrics, the score, and obviously the film recording, those are all protected by core copyright law. That stops unauthorized copying, distribution, the usual stuff.
That seems straightforward enough.
That's the easy part. The hard part is managing that live performance element that the fans bring.
Right. Which brings us perfectly to the shadow casts. This is where it gets really interesting, legally speaking. For anyone listening who doesn't know, a shadow cast is, well, it's fans acting out the entire movie, live, usually in costume, right in front of the screen while the film is playing.
Exactly. It's like a live dramatic performance happening simultaneously, layered right on top of the original copyrighted film.
So if we put on our strict IP law hats,
okay, hats on.
These shadowcast performances, they definitely involve the public performance of copyrighted material, right? The dialogue from the scripts, the choreography, even the character likenesses.
Absolutely. By the letter of the law, that requires a specific license, something separate from just the license to screen the movie itself.
Okay, that's a crucial point for listeners. Who's technically infringing here? Is it the theater showing the film or the fans doing the acting?
That's the key question. The venue, the movie theater, they have to buy a standard public performance license just to show the film, and they do that.
Right.
But the shadowcast actors, they are, technically speaking, performing a dramatic interpretation of the script. And often, people are paying tickets to see that performance, including the shadowcast.
Wow. So the rights holders could, if they really wanted to play hardball,
they could
demand a whole separate subsidiary dramatic performance license from every single local theater that hosts a shadowcast performance.
They absolutely could demand that. But the reality on the ground is much more nuanced. Our sources all point to the fact that the rights holders have basically allowed this stuff for decades.
Allowed it.
Well, maybe allowed isn't even the right word. It's more like what IP lawyers call strategic non-enforcement, or sometimes permissive licensing.
Okay, strategic non-enforcement. Sounds like a fancy legal term for we decided not to sue.
Pretty much.
But what's the actual legal calculation behind that decision? Why not enforce?
It's almost purely a commercial calculation, really. Two main reasons. First, the cost. Imagine trying to identify, track down, and then legally pursue thousands of, let's be honest, amateur, local shadow casts all over the country or the world.
Yeah, the legal fees alone?
Exactly. It would likely cost way more than any potential licensing fees they might scrape together. But second, and this is probably more important, the public relations nightmare.
The backlash.
Huge backlash. Imagine the headlines. Big corporation sues tiny local theater group for loving Rocky Horror too much.
Right. You'd instantly kill the golden goose. You become the villain attacking the very community that keeps your movie alive and culturally relevant.
Precisely. That fan base acts as free, constant marketing. They are the living, breathing distribution mechanism for the film's cultural relevance. By strategically ignoring that specific type of infringement, the rights holders make sure the film stays vital. It encourages new generations to discover it, to buy the official merchandise, maybe attend the professional stage shows where they do collect point-of-license fees.
Okay, that makes total sense from a business perspective. But doesn't letting this go on for so long, like 50 years of widely known, organized infringement, doesn't that create a legal risk later?
Yeah.
Could it weaken their ability to enforce their IP against a major commercial infringement down the line?
That's a really sharp question. And that is the absolute tightrope walk of managing IP like this. They manage that risk generally by drawing a clear line between the amateur, often nonprofit or very low revenue fan activity like shadow casts and the big money commercial stuff. They maintain control by being very strict about enforcing their rights for professional stage productions, the official tours, and crucially for all merchandising.
Got it. So the message is kind of like, go ahead, throw rice, shot at the screen, wear a cheap corset. That's cool. That keeps the buzz going. But don't you dare try selling a mass-produced T-shirt with the official logo or stage a big professional tour without cutting us a proper check.
That's exactly it. Defend the high-value core IP, the trademarks, the official productions fiercely. Tolerate the low financial value but high cultural engagement fan activities. And that distinction leads us nicely into the other side of the business, trademark law.
Right. So now we're shifting gears. Away from performance rights, which fall under copyright, and into branding. Because Rocky Horror isn't just a film, it's a powerful brand.
Yeah.
And that's protected by trademark.
Correct. Trademarks cover the things people use in commerce to identify the source of goods or services. We're talking titles, logos, slogans, distinctive visual elements.
Like the lip.
Exactly like the iconic Red Lips logo. That and the title's stylized, kind of gothic font, those aren't just artistic choices. They are registered, carefully managed trademarks.
And that protection is crucial for all the merchandise, the themed events, everything that generates direct revenue beyond just screening the film.
Absolutely. And unlike copyright, or even the permissive approach to performance rights we just discussed, trademarks require consistent use and, importantly, consistent enforcement to keep their legal protection strong.
Okay. So you can't be permissive with trademarks.
Generally, no. If they had let just anyone slap the Red Lips logo on any old T-shirt for 50 years without permission,
They'd lose it.
They'd risk trademark dilution. Basically, the mark loses its distinctiveness as an indicator of the official source. They'd lose control over their most valuable commercial assets.
So the very fact that today, 50 years on, we still see official live stage tours happening, licensed memorabilia being sold, those immersive experiences popping up, all carefully managed and licensed, that proves they've been robustly enforcing the trademark side of things all along. That keeps the brand value high.
It really does. It's how they monetize the chaos we talked about earlier. They ensure the official products, the official experiences are recognizable and desirable, capitalizing on the demand that's partly generated by the fan culture they tolerate on the copyright side.
It's a fascinating balancing act. But the IP landscape gets even messier, doesn't it? Especially when you look at major adaptations or revivals. That brings film rights, music rights, stage rights, all crashing together.
Oh, yeah. The franchise's history is a perfect example of how complicated things get when you have multiple, sometimes fragmented, rights holders. It's the multi-party problem.
Meaning?
Meaning Richard O'Brien created the original stage show and holds certain rights. Then different production companies were involved in making the film. Various studios and distributors over the years have held the film distribution rights, the music publishing rights. It gets tangled.
Like a legal Gordian knot wrapped in a feather boa.
Huh. That's a good way to put it.
So what does that mean practically if someone wants to do something new with Rocky Horror today?
It means any modern revival, any new adaptation, even just getting a good streaming deal sorted out, requires navigating this whole complex history. You can't just call one company and buy the rights. You have to figure out who holds the right to adapt the script, who holds the rights to the individual songs, the publishing rights, who controls the master recordings if you want to use the original film soundtrack, who controls the visual elements like the logo.
Wow. Okay, let's use a concrete example. That 2016 television remake, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. That couldn't have been a simple rights negotiation.
Not simple at all. That project is actually a perfect little snapshot of this IP complexity in action. To make that new TV version, the producers needed a whole bundle of distinct permissions.
Okay, break it down. What do they need?
Well, first, they needed the underlying literary rights, right? The permission to adapt the original script, use the characters. That likely involved agreements tracing back to O'Brien and the original film producers or their successors.
Makes sense. What else?
Then, crucially, the music rights. And music rights are often split. There are the master recordings, the rights to use a specific recorded version of a song, like from the original movie soundtrack. And then there are the publishing rights, the rights to the underlying musical composition, the notes and lyrics themselves. To record brand new versions of the songs for the TV special, they absolutely had to secure the publishing rights for every single song.
So even though Fox produced the remake, and Fox entities likely held many of the film rights.
Right.
They still had to go back and make sure all the original songwriters, the music publishers, everyone with a piece of that original 1970s pie got their permission secured and their royalties sorted for this new 2016 version.
Precisely. It really demonstrates how the initial structure of IP ownership deeply shapes the creative legacy and the business possibilities decades later. Without carefully navigating all those historical complexities, that 2016 adaptation, which, arguably helped introduce the property to a whole new streaming generation, it just wouldn't have been legally possible.
The negotiations themselves sound like a testament to the enduring value of the IP. It was clearly worth the immense effort, even after all that time.
Absolutely. The underlying property was valuable enough to justify untangling that boa knot.
So, okay, let's synthesize all this. We've gone from a box office flop to this enduring cultural icon, navigating shadow casts, trademarks, complex rights. What's the big definitive lesson from Rocky Horror's amazing IP longevity?
I think the story of RHPS is really a profound lesson in managing intellectual property with, maybe the best word is flexibility, extreme flexibility. It proves that IP sometimes has to be allowed to evolve, to endure, maybe even adapt across generations, often by, letting the audience take the reins a bit.
So the core success here is finding that unique balance. You protect the creative work where it counts commercially with strict trademark enforcement on merch.
Rigorously.
While simultaneously refusing to clamp down on the fan culture, that organized chaos, because that's literally what gives the property oxygen. It keeps it alive every time someone throws toast at a screen somewhere.
It's IP management disguised as a party invitation. They didn't just survive 50 years. They thrived because they understood, maybe implicitly at first, maybe more explicitly later, that the most powerful marketing is organic, fan-driven devotion, even if that devotion sometimes technically dances on the edge of copyright law.
Absolutely. And thinking about it over these 50 years, the enduring success suggests something really interesting. Maybe the IP's value is intrinsically linked to the audience's willingness to actively participate and, technically, to infringe on the source material in specific contained ways.
By allowing that chaos within bounds, the rights holders ensured the film never just faded away like so many others from that era.
That feels like a very fitting takeaway for a film that's all about defying norms and subverting expectations anyway.
It is. The value isn't just locked up in the film canister or the sheet music. It's in the ongoing living culture it generates.
So as you, our listener, think about managing creative work, or maybe even just participating in fandom, the message seems pretty clear. Sometimes the smartest way to secure your future is to loosen the leash just a bit on the present when it comes to creativity, culture, and IP.
It seems it's always time to do the time warp again. you.